The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me lie in pastures green. He leads me by the still waters. His goodness will lead me home.
Welcome to the School of Christian Mysticism. Our continuing meditation today is on the Gospel of Thomas. We're using the translation by Jean-Yves Leloup. And today we'll be considering the Logia from number 57 to number 61. That's on pages 33 and 35 of the book. We'll follow the process that we have been doing, which involves 3 readings. After the first reading, we'll have a discussion between ourselves of the first impressions that we get, using our sort of reason. It's quite difficult to do that with these because they're more like Zen koans than writings that we can directly use reason with them. They're more intended for contemplative Lectio Divina. And we will be doing a Lectio Divina live next Monday. That's what date is that?
What? The 30th.
Not sure what date that is, but
the 30th.
The 30th. So next Monday, the 30th of October, we'll be doing a Lectio Divina based on these Logia. And everybody's welcome to join us for that. So this is intended really as preparation for that. So, as I say, we'll have 3 readings. The first will be followed by a discussion. The second will be followed by more of a Lectio consideration, although it'll be quite limited in its scope because we don't want to spoil the live session, that people may have things coming to them during that. And then after the third reading, there will be a period of silence, silent contemplation, which is where these verses inevitably lead us. So, Joe, would you like to do the first reading, and Tim the second, and I'll do the last one?
Yeshua said, "The kingdom of the Father is like the man who had some good seed. The man would not allow them to pull up the weeds, saying, "I fear you might pull up the wheat as well." Indeed, at harvest time, the weeds will be conspicuous. They will be pulled up and burned. Yeshua said, "Blessed are those who have undergone ordeals. They have entered into life." Yeshua said, "Look to the living one while you are alive. If you wait until you are dead, you will search in vain for the vision." They saw a Samaritan carrying a lamb entering into Judea. He said to his disciples, "What will a man do with a lamb?" They answered, "He will kill it and eat it." He told them, "As long as it is alive, he will not eat it, but only if he kills it and it becomes a cadaver." They said, "He cannot do otherwise." He told them, "Seek a place in repose. Do not become cadavers, lest you be eaten." Yeshua said, "Two will lie on a single bed. One will die, the other will live." Salome asked him, "Who are you, sir? Where do you come from, you who lie on my bed and eat at my table?" Yeshua replied, "I come from the one who is openness. What comes from my Father has been given to me." Salome answered, "I am your disciple." Yeshua told her, "That is why I say that when disciples are open, they are filled with light. When they are divided, they are filled with darkness."
This seems to generally follow the theme of the last group that we read about life and death, spiritual life and spiritual death. Do not become cadavers. Seems to be about spiritual death, lest you be eaten. Eaten by the world.
It's such a bold or bald statement. "Do not become cadavers lest you be eaten." Having just described what happens to the lamb in the Samaritan's arms. It's I think that's a phrase which I think will echo in my mind as I go about life. Really, as, as it's a pretty powerful warning, isn't it? And what is a cadaver? Somebody that's spiritually dead, sure, or when we are spiritually dead, and when we are divided, filled with darkness. Mm.
You're muted, Tim.
Okay. There's almost a flack of humor in the moment when Salome responds to the teaching, because Jesus has just said one in the bed will be alive and the other one will be dead, and she's saying, "Who are you that's lying in my bed?" Basically. So if you're going to be alive, I'm going to be dead. Is that right? Who are you? She says. Who are you? And he says, I come from the openness, is it? Yeah, the one who is openness, where all potentiality exists, where nothing is dead, where all is life. There seems to be, as there often is, a play on this theme of duality and non-duality, and the two becoming one, perhaps. There are two lying on the bed. Well, the corpse, the cadaver, will be gone, and all that's left is life. I'm not sure. I also wonder who Salome is. And she says, "Who are you?" Well, who are you?
Yes, quite. It's reasonable to ask the same question of her. Well, we've all said that we haven't looked at Lulu's commentary to find out if he does mention it.
No. But that's for you, viewer, if you would like to follow that up. We tend to stay away from commentary because well, for me anyway, if I read a commentary, then I'm going to respond to it in some way, and I'd rather respond to the text.
And we all come to this without any kind of rehearsal or discussion. It's entirely spontaneous.
Yeah.
It is striking, though, that Salome refers to him as lying on her bed and eating at her table, but says, "Who are you?"
Yes, but wouldn't we as well?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? Who
Yeah.
are you? Who are you and who am I?
Yeah. Yeah.
The prayer of St. Francis, I think. He used to say that. Spent nights awake saying it. Who are you and who am I?
Yes. It's a good question.
Who are you?
And where do you come from? You are so present in my life, really. I mean, it may be that they had some relationship. It may be that she was just staying with her. It may be that she was a disciple, but But deeper than that, perhaps, whatever it was, that in our lives, where do you come from? You who are in my life, who lie down to sleep with me, who sit at my table with me. Who are you that are so present and yet other?
Very intimately in my life, yeah. But who are you? Who are you?
We read in John. Sorry.
No, God, go ahead.
We were reading in John's Gospel earlier in morning prayer. The moment when Jesus says the Paraclete will come, the guide, the inner teacher, I guess maybe the Holy Spirit will come, and maybe Salome is after the resurrection of Christ, early follower of the way, who knows the Christ in her life, who knows the inner teacher in her life, and is asking, well, who are you? Who are you? I'm not just Salome. I'm not just the woman that everybody calls Salome. I'm also this deeper self who's leading Salome, or the body, mind thing that I am, into greater awareness, into eternity. Who are you?
And she finds herself, as it says, Salome answered, I am your disciple.
Yes, I am your disciple. And he affirms, really, doesn't it? It sounds like it anyway. That's why I say that when disciples are open, it sounds like she was open. They're filled with light.
Maybe this is the process of opening and asking the question. Like we observe ourselves, when we pray, who is the prayer, and then who is asking who is the prayer, who is we begin to open in this way to the possibilities of openness, I suppose.
Yes, in fact you have that in the liturgy this week, don't you, Tim? Who's the one that's meditating and who's observing the one that's meditating? These are Zen koans, aren't they?
Yeah.
But whatever you do,
Malcolm was right at the beginning, wasn't he? It's once, because we're talking, but we're also meditating, and I'm longing for the silence already.
Yes.
Sorry, Joe, you were going to say something there.
No, I just was reminding myself, do not become a cadaver. Keep asking the question. I was just going to say number 58. I rather like this one. Blessed are those who have undergone ordeals, they have entered into life. What a relief. I mean, I think it's true as well that as I just understand that in an ordinary kind of way, having undergone ordeals like most of us, and as consciously as possible, trying to stay conscious throughout, and it is an amazing road into life, really. That's my experience. I'm imagining it's yours as well. Is it you? Both of you?
Yeah, I would say so. There's initial reaction to struggle, isn't there? Oh, I wish I didn't have to struggle. Why is this happening to me?
Yeah.
Surely it's unfair. I'm only trying to do my best, and all this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But as the what did you say it was called? Trial? What is it? Ordeal.
Ordeals.
As the ordeal continues and unfolds, then a deeper awareness comes, doesn't it? And yeah, I mean, but just saying, doesn't it? Isn't and these things yeah. I mean, there's two edges to that. I'm asking the question, you know, so I'm looking for some kind of help in my thinking, I suppose, and some kind of comradeship. We do this when and I'm doing it now, just saying we. It's like the royal we, isn't it? It's like, do we? You asked a very deep question then, actually, when you said, "Is it like that? Is it like that for you?" And that has a reverberation. That question has a reverberation because it calls into question for me the whole thing of how do I gauge things? How do I justify a thought? Do I attach that to the thoughts of others, and then there's some kind of consensus? Oh yes, this is the human condition. So it all of these things happen to us all. So isn't that okay? Because we're all in this together, but we don't know that, do we? We don't. Yeah, is it? Maybe an ordeal is absolutely negative for somebody. I suppose. I don't know.
I think it is. If we're not conscious, it's just an ordeal.
But these questions are life-giving, aren't they? Because they're not taking anything for granted.
No.
When we take things for granted, we fall asleep. We become the cadaver, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reminded of the Buddhists who talk about suffering. It's one of the first sort of principles that there is suffering in life, and it's by dealing with the suffering and overcoming the suffering and seeing a way through the suffering and rising above the suffering that one can become enlightened. So without the suffering, there wouldn't be the trigger to enlightenment. It's a necessary part of the process. I mean, if everything was lovely and there was no suffering and no ordeals and no, if everything was calm and beautiful, then you wouldn't look for anything else. You'd just live in the world you were in. But it's getting back to that beautiful calmness. Suffering is the trigger for doing that. It's a circular thing. If that makes any sense.
Does anything make sense?
I find a part of myself saying no, but it's true. It's the forge, isn't it? It's the forge in which we are created, really.
There's great paradox in all of it as well, because what is enlightenment? And because enlightenment seems to bring us back to that kind of everything's okay, even though there's suffering. and I'm suffering, and you're suffering, and this person is suffering, but it's okay. So, so we have the peace of enlightenment, I suppose. It's paradox. It's just we can't think about it. I think we can't think about it. It's nothing makes sense once we the sense is inhibitive to enlightenment, because the sense is and logic and all of those things aren't it. They're all attached to something. It's all attachment. Any thought is an attachment. Any attempt to work something out is an attachment to a result that we're hoping for that is going to be elusive.
Almost talks about this in the last paragraph that we read. That's why when the disciples are open, they're filled with light, enlightened.
Yes.
When they are divided, which is conceptual thinking, because it's conceptual thinking is this or that, or there has to be two sides. When they are divided, they are filled with darkness. It's inviting us, I think, into the contemplative mode and away from these feeble attempts to use our reason to understand.
Yeah, right in the middle, Jesus says, seek a place in repose, doesn't he? When he's talking about the cadaver and the man carrying the cadaver and carrying the lamb, and he says, seek a place in repose. And I guess that's exactly what you just said, Malcolm.
And that seems to be a good point, perhaps, to have our second reading, so that we can begin to seek that repose.
Yes, to seek that aliveness, to be remaining alive, even when, even at times of suffering. Yeah. Okay.
I'm very conscious of what's going on in the Holy Lands at the moment as we read, and that duality going on is so loud at the moment.
Yeah.
So I read the second time. Starting at 57, am I right?
Yes.
Yeshua said, the kingdom of the Father is like the man who had some good seed. His enemy came at night and sowed weeds among the good seed. The man would not allow them to pull up the weeds, saying, I fear you might pull up the wheat as well. Indeed, at harvest time, the weeds will be conspicuous. They will be pulled up and burned. Yeshua said, blessed are those who have undergone ordeals. They have entered into life. Yeshua said, look to the living one while you are alive. If you wait until you are dead, you will search in vain for the vision. They saw a Samaritan carrying a lamb entering into Judea. He said to his disciples, what will the man do with the lamb? They answered, he will kill it and eat it. He told them, as long as it is alive, he will not eat it, but only if he kills it and it becomes a cadaver. They said, "He cannot do otherwise." He told them, "Seek a place in repose. Do not become cadavers, lest you be eaten." Yeshua said, "Two will lie on a single bed. One will die, the other will live." Salome asked him, "Who are you, sir? Where do you come from? You who lie on my bed and eat at my table?" Yeshua replied, "I come from the one who is openness. What comes from my Father has been given to me." Salome answered, "I am your disciple." Yeshua told her, "That is why I say that when disciples are open, they are filled with light. When they are divided, they are filled with darkness." Who are you that lies in my bed and eats at my table?
When he broke the bread, they recognized him, and he disappeared.
I come from the one who is openness. I am your disciple.
Seek a place in repose.
Closed, being alive, being open. No divisions.
While the Lamb, the innocent one, is alive, it will not be eaten.
This is my body, which is given for you. Is the cadaver dead? What is living? Who are you? What's alive?
Who are you? Who is the one who seeks repose? Who's asking?
Who is it? Lying in my bed, eating at my table.
I am your disciple. The third reading. Yeshua said, "The kingdom of the Father is like the man who had some good seed. His enemy came at night and sowed weeds among the good seed. The man would not allow them to pull up the weeds, saying, 'I fear you might pull up the wheat as well.' Indeed, at harvest time, the weeds will be conspicuous. They will be pulled up and burned." Yeshua said, "Blessed are those who have undergone ordeals. They have entered into life. Yeshua said, "Look to the living one while you are alive. If you wait until you are dead, you will search in vain for the vision." They saw a Samaritan carrying a lamb entering into Judea. He said to his disciples, "What will the man do with the lamb?" They answered, "He will kill it and eat it." He told them, "As long as it is alive, he will not eat it, but only if he kills it and it becomes a cadaver." They said, "He cannot do otherwise." He told them, "Seek a place in repose. Do not become cadavers, lest you be eaten." Yeshua said, "Two will lie on a single bed. One will die, the other will live." Salome asked him, "Who are you, sir? Where do you come from, you who lie on my bed and eat at my table?" Yeshua replied, "I come from the one who is openness. What comes from my Father has been given to me." Salome answered, "I am your disciple." Yeshua told her, "That is why I say that when disciples are open, they are filled with light. When they are divided, they are filled with darkness."